Hello everyone, welcome to my presentation. My name is Andrea Brits and today I want to invite you to reflect on a topic that touches the hearts and minds of almost every English learner and future teacher in Brazil, the pressure to sound like a native speaker. The title of my talk is Breaking the Native Speaker Myth, English as a Língua Franca in the Modern Classroom. My main goal today is to show you that having an accent is not a flaw. It is an identity, and that our focus in a classroom should shift from an unachievable perfection to real, effective intelligibility. Before we dive in, here is a quick outline of our journey today. First, I will share a brief personal reflection about how language marketing shaped our views, followed by the main issues regarding the native speaker myth. Then, we will look at some hard global data regarding English as a lingua franca. And finally, we will discuss the practical importance of prioritizing intelligibility over perfection in the classroom and summarize our pedagogical contributions. To understand how we got here, I would like to share a personal story with you. When I first started learning English, the educational landscape in Brazil was very different from what we discuss today in applied linguistics. Back then, we had to make a strict choice between language schools based on their commercial propaganda. The advertising was always the same. One school would proudly state, "Here, you will learn authentic American English," while another would compete by saying, "No, come to us, because here you will learn the prestigious British English." And as students, we were conditioned to believe that these were the only two valid forms of the language. We grew up under the impression that our success depended on perfectly mimicking one of these two distant realities, creating a lot of unnecessary anxiety. But this commercial separation completely ignored the real world. This traditional mindset created a deep sense of insecurity among Brazilian students regarding their own accents, a reality that many of us as undergraduate letters students and future educators still see today. Traditional English language teaching promoted the idea that the ultimate goal of learning English was to look, write, and sound exactly like someone from New York or London. But let's look at the facts. Who actually owns English today? This obsession with a single cultural standard no longer matches reality, which brings us to our core academic concept, English as a lingua franca. Let's look at the hard data provided by Ethnologue and the British Council. Today, there are approximately 1.53 billion English speakers in the world. But here's the mind-blowing fact. Out of those 1.5 billion, only about 390 million are native speakers. The remaining 1.14 billion people are non-native second language users. This means that for every single native speaker, there are nearly 3 non-native speakers using English to communicate right now. In fact, research shows that only about 4% of all English conversations around the globe take place exclusively between two native speakers. The vast majority of interactions happen between multilingual individuals who use English as a shared working tool. According to modern research, English as a lingua franca, or ELF, refers precisely to this use of English as a common means of communication between people who do not share a first language. Think about a Brazilian business person having a meeting with a Japanese client. They are not using English to adopt American or British culture. They are using it as a functional tool to build professional bridges. When we look at English through the lens of ELF, the old commercial standard of choosing between American or British English loses its pedagogical sense. The real success of a global interaction does not depend on perfect native grammar. It depends on cultural empathy, adaptability, and most importantly, mutual intelligibility. This brings us to a crucial distinction: perfection versus intelligibility. What does it mean to be intelligible? It means your speech is clear, your rhythm is functional, and your listener can easily grasp your actual message without extra effort. As educators, when we penalize students simply because they sound Brazilian, we are creating an effective filter, a wall of anxiety that silences them. Shifting our pedagogical focus from that old commercial perfection to real intelligibility makes communication more effective, more realistic, and deeply humanized. It allows students to focus on what they are saying rather than being terrified of how they sound. So how do we practice this in the modern classroom? Well, first, we need to move past the marketing talk and expose our students to diverse English accents: Indian, Nigerian, Spanish, and yes, Brazilian, because that is the English they will encounter in the real world. And second, we must stop treating regional accents as pronunciation errors that need to be erased. An error is something that breaks communication. An accent is just a phonetic characteristic. By validating our students' cultural background, we empower them to become confident, active global citizens who treat language as a space for partnership and connection. To conclude, breaking the native speaker myth is not about lowering our teaching standards. It is about raising our pedagogical awareness. It is about understanding that our non-native accent is not a flaw, a scar, or a limitation. It is a testament to our multilingual identity. We don't need to choose between being American or British copies. We can be proud, fluent Brazilian speakers of English as future English teachers. Let's commit to building classrooms where our students feel safe, heard, and fully empowered to speak their minds to the world. Thank you very much for your time and attention, and see you soon. Bye-bye.